What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Nice Catch Podcast. We're here to catch you up on all the latest football news and analysis. I'm Baden.
And I'm Hank. Today, we'll be talking about college football rivalry week, NFL injuries, and we'll be sharing our takes on the Heisman Trophy race. This Heisman Trophy race is, well, the odds don't say it's tight. I think it's really tight in my mind, and we'll save that to the end. Keep you waiting on it as we talk about our top 10 and bottom 10. We'll start with that. We'll start with the bottom 10 so that we can kind of get some of the depressing stuff over. Throw some jokes in there.
Out of the way. Oh yeah.
There's some funny stuff in here too. Like
Absolutely.
Well, you got to wait and see. You got to wait and see.
That's the whole idea.
But it's going to be a good episode, I think. I mean, college football playoff rankings coming out tonight. Or depending on when you're listening to this, you've probably already seen them. But it's going to be a wild episode. College football is coming to a close, and so crazy stuff. All right. Well, Baden, you want to get us kicked off with the bottom 10?
Oh, yeah. We'll just jump right into it. For number 10, I have that the Bears are finding ways to lose. A lot of times we talk about teams that find ways to win. They can just get these little things to push them right past the line to get them the victory in unique ways. Well, the Bears are doing the exact opposite. They are continually finding ways to lose. We have missed field goals, blocked field goals,
Hail Mary,
while their cornerback is taunting the crowd, and then finally last Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving, I guess, we saw them. My brain just blipped. Finally, last Thanksgiving, Matt Eberflus decides not to call a timeout, and they chunk the field goal on a long pass, or chunk the pass on.
It's okay. It's one of those days. It's late.
Matt Eberflus decides not to call
You're good.
He decides, don't cut any of this. Matt Eberflus decides not to call a timeout as they chunk the ball down the field, and the clock runs out, the game is over. All they needed was a field goal to tie it up, take them to overtime, and instead they don't spike the ball, they don't do a short pass and then timeout, kick the field goal. No, they have a long pass, the game is over. It's honestly amazing. It was the end of their game, end of Matt Eberflus's run of being the Bears coach, and it's just amazing how the Bears continually are finding ways to lose. So that's definitely worthy of our number 10 spot.
Definitely. Yeah. Hey, I love that. And I have the opposite for my number 9. That a team that is not very loved in the NFL right now, as were the Patriots when they were good. The Chiefs, they are always winning in wild ways. You think they're done. They got another loss. The Broncos game a few weeks ago. There we go. All they have to do is kick the short field goal. Blocked. Of course, the Bills did finally hand them that win, or the lose. They finally handed them the loss that they deserved. But this past week, again, on a controversial penalty, people say it should have been a false start. The ball was snapped.
Yeah.
The ball was snapped. So it's
not a false start.
But
the play was started.
Yeah.
The ball snapped. So
again, it's just a wild way to win. And you think that this team that is so highly regarded as a bandwagon now is finally going to get another loss, and they just don't. They don't lose. They have the worst margin of victory of any 11-1 team in NFL history. They are the worst 11-1 team, besides maybe Indiana. Just kidding. Just kidding. Maybe.
I got to throw that in there.
Maybe. Yep, just throw you that Easter egg. But that's my number 9.
All right. For number 8, this one is a little more personal. Washita is out of the playoffs. That happened over break. They made it to the playoffs, and that was super cool. But just as a Washita fan, seeing your school go out in the first round, that was difficult. So that definitely that's never fun, but it's looking really good for Washita football, I'd say.
Yep, good outlook for sure. Number 7, we'll move back to, we've talked about the NFL. We talked about D2 college football. Here's our first D1 college football. Ryan Day. Before the season, I called that Ohio State would have another off season. They were a top-tier team, or close to top-tier team this season. But you lose to your arch rival.
For the
fourth
year in a row?
Yeah, I mean, third year in a row, I think. And it's like, they're not good this season. And you lose to them when you're playing for a conference title berth. You have a good chance to win your conference title. You lost the last game in enemy territory by 1 point. And so it's like neutral site. It's going to be a really even matchup. Probably. But Ryan Day can't beat University of Michigan. Doesn't happen. And it cost them a lot more than normal this season. So, of course, it's not all on Ryan Day. He gets more blame than he deserves for this. But I'll just throw that situation out there. Sorry, I bumped a mic that we're not even using. We'll throw that situation out there for my number 7.
Awesome. Number 6, this one hits close to home as he is, at this point, probably my favorite player in the NFL. But Christian McCaffrey comes back. And he's playing well for 2 games?
Yeah, 2 or 3 games.
2 or 3 games. And it's a snow game, and he gets a non-contact season-ending knee injury. It's absolutely heartbreaking. It is not what you want to see. The 49ers have dealt with a lot of injuries. And then, of course, Christian McCaffrey himself has probably had the worst of it. And for him to finally come back after one of his Achilles, might even both of his Achilles having troubles, he comes back, non-contact knee injury, and he's out for the season.
Yeah,
absolutely heartbreaking. That is not what you want to see, especially Christian McCaffrey is just awesome. And so that was really hard, I think.
Yeah, for sure. He was back for 4 games. 4 games. The whole season. No touchdowns recorded.
Man.
I do have to say that I did tell y'all to not draft him in fantasy. I suggested it.
Hank did say that.
Come on, Baden.
Hank did say that.
Baden, you are number 1 in our fantasy football
I am number
league.
1.
And I am number 11. So we just switched this year.
Exactly.
My sleeper picks did not work out well, and Raheem Mostert is no longer the starter. So I have Kenneth Walker as a running back, and I have no other running backs. But waiver wire for Isaac Garindo coming up. So if you listen to this tonight, I've already claimed him. Don't take him, Baden. I have waiver priority over you, so you can't take him.
I can't take him.
Only 3 people in our league have waiver priority over me.
Wait, Isaac Garindo is
the 49ers running back because McCaffrey
and
Mason are both on IR.
Okay,
or I don't remember if Mason's
I have a waiver
IR.
right now that I don't think I'm gonna get for the Bengals.
Chase Brown. Yeah,
because he's
doing
not.
really well.
I don't think I have him in that league though. I can't remember which one.
Chase Brown's already taken in that league.
No,
for sure.
yeah, it's in a different league.
Yeah.
And that I'm not going to tell everybody what waivers I have in that one.
That's fair. I just figure that
no
one below me. If you're below me in fantasy, you might not be listening to our podcast.
Exactly.
That was number 6. On to number 5. We have another injury, and this time it's Taysom Hill, another fan favorite player that's really put a spark in the Saints' offense at times. We saw him have a 3 touchdown game earlier this season. Score 41 fantasy points as a tight end. But he's out for the season now. Obviously, New Orleans fans hate to see this. NFL fans in general, like you and I, hate to see this. So, definitely deserves its spot at number 5 on the bottom 10.
Oh, absolutely. Number 4, this one was really tough to watch, was Trevor Lawrence. The hit by Shakir.
Aziz Al-Shaair.
Al-Shaair on Trevor Lawrence. I was watching it live. I'm a Texans fan. And, of course, as a Texans fan and as someone who, I've always liked defense more. I've always been very, I haven't liked all the penalties and stuff, all that like contact and everything. So that when I first saw the hit in real time, no slow motion, I was like, oh well, he didn't have enough time to pull off, and Trevor Lawrence kind of like he couldn't tell if he was sliding or not. When it was played in slow motion, it was absolutely a dirty hit, and that is just in the game of football. That is not what you want to see. There's a level of respect that goes into football, and the rules that are set in place, like them or not, are set in place to protect the players. And not only was it a direct hit on a sliding quarterback, but the forearm was put out towards the head. It was just really hard to watch. And Trevor Lawrence, clearly, I don't know if they've come out with an official statement, but what it looks like is a concussion. Mm-hmm. And, he had just gotten back. Just kind of been getting back into the groove from his own, struggling with his own injuries. And just to see that was just not what you want to see. And that, of course, led into a huge brawl, and Al Shire being ejected, as well as one of the players for the Jaguars. And then now Al Shire has been given a longer suspension. I'm not exactly sure how many games.
3-game suspension.
A 3-game suspension, which I will say is completely deserved. That's just, and he came out and he did an apology. He sent an apology to Trevor Lawrence. So respect for that. But there's no, in the game of football, there's no place for dirty hits like that. I understand sometimes, you don't know if the quarterback's sliding. You've already committed to a tackle and you can't back up, but that's not what happened. On that play. So that was really hard to watch and very disappointing, but I think Trevor Lawrence was he was carted off, but he was able to get up, sit on the golf cart is basically what it was, and I think that it was just a concussion, so hopefully he'll be all right and he'll be back in a few weeks. Mm-hmm. But that was just not fun to watch.
Yeah. Never fun to see a hit like that. And especially on someone I've rooted for Trevor Lawrence since he's been in college, and someone who I've just really hoped can get his NFL career together. Yeah. A setback like that hurts a lot for fans of him, but also for him and his family. We've seen concussions ruin a career, and we don't want to see it. I don't want to see it happen to a guy like this.
Absolutely.
Again. So that was 4. So number 3. We have a different cat team. Heartbreak for them is the Carolina Panthers. That not only, they're not a good team. They've won a few games this year, though. Yeah. But they were so close to beating the Buccaneers. They had it. They were up with 30 seconds left, and then the Buccaneers go down in field goal range, tie it up, send it to overtime, and win with a walk-off field goal in overtime.
Yep.
I just don't know if Carolina Panthers fans can catch a break.
They can't.
Bryce Young's, he's playing well.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, the past few games, he
is so back.
Yeah, he's so back. 5 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Dang, I didn't know those stats. Those are good.
He's been playing well recently. But, being a Panthers fan, I've met one Panther fan here at school. I don't know why he's a Panther fan. But, being a Cowboys fan is tough this year. Being a Panthers fan?
For the past every year since the Super Bowl,
yeah.
Super Bowl 50. And even then, it was tough being a Panthers fan.
Exactly. Since right before Super Bowl 50.
Yes. They just can't catch a break.
Yeah. So the Panthers probably are reoccurring guests on the bottom 10.
On the bottom,
but
absolutely.
They earned it again this week.
Hey, I'm pretty sure if I remember, they were on top 10 last week for doing better than we thought.
Yeah. Hey, well.
They were my they were my worst one on top 10, but they did make the top 10 last episode.
And I said rookie quarterbacks for top 10.
And that
I did not mention him.
Well, he's not a rookie quarterback.
You're right, he isn't.
So that's why he was not mentioned.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Years are running together. I feel like he's a rookie. He's not played that much.
Yeah, last season was just very weird.
I feel like some rookies already have close to as many snaps as he does. Maybe. No, close to as many. Anyway, throw out your number 1, so the number 2 overall of bottom 10.
Number 2 overall, we have all the fights and brawls and the escalation. Sometimes it's kind of fun to see a couple. Odell Beckham and Josh Norman back in the day. That's kind of fun. You see a couple players just getting really passionate, very aggressive, and that's kind of cool. When you have a field-wide brawl and to the level that, say, for instance, Michigan and Ohio State got to, that's so disappointing and not okay. When the police have to separate you with pepper spray, nonetheless, that there's no place for that. It wasn't just in college. We obviously had Ohio State and Michigan, North Carolina, NC and NC State, the Texans and Jaguars.
Yeah.
And I know there was more. I know for a fact that there was more. I don't have them off the top of my head. Florida and Florida State. And there may have been more. I feel like there was at least one or two
A&M
more.
UT.
A&M UT. That one wasn't as big, but it was
hard to watch. Yeah,
definitely
Sarkisian
there.
tried to hold him back. Be a little classy.
But it's just hard to watch, and it's very weird that we saw all of these fights, all these brawls on the same week.
Yeah,
it was very odd. But just
it's what rivalry week brings out.
It is what rivalry week brings out, and it absolutely did that. And I think it's just a discipline and a self-control thing that just wasn't there. And it's always kind of fun seeing like when a team goes to a rival school and beats them, and then they plant the flag. But I think I saw what UT's coach said. He said just about respect. There's no need to plant the flag on the other teams, because that was what started the fights between, if I remember, all those teams except for the Jaguars and Texans, which Evan Ingram hitting Shire after his hit on Trevor Lawrence. I will just say, whenever a quarterback gets hit and the entire bench comes off to beat up the guy that hit the quarterback, that's not good. But I respect it.
Respect, yeah. You're defending your leader.
You're defending your leader. But with the planting of the flag and then all the brawls, that was just disappointing.
Yeah, took it a little too far.
Took it a little too far. A little aggressiveness, a little passion, some pushing and shoving. It's kind of fun to watch, but when it gets to a point where it's not okay.
Yeah.
You have to remember you're playing football.
You got to act like adults.
And you're playing a sport.
Yeah, definitely. For number one, let's throw out the other cat team, the Bengals. They've been playing pretty good, stats-wise.
Yeah.
But win-loss-wise, they lost 5 times this season when Joe Burrow has thrown over 300 yards. And one of those games, he threw over 400 yards. All of those were losses. They're 4-8, even though they still have some of the statistical leaders of the NFL.
Yep.
Like, they are an extremely... We talked about the Bears being unlucky. I think the Bengals may be even more unlucky.
Yeah.
I know there's some site that tracks unluckiness of NFL teams. I don't know where that is. But the Bengals have been extremely unlucky this season with just losing in this kind of fashion.
Yeah.
Score.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I also think it speaks to the defense.
That's fair, definitely.
When you are putting up over 30 points consistently and not winning games, there's something to be said about the defense there.
Yeah. We've seen good defensive plays. There's
absolutely.
Trey Hendrickson is one of the top NFL sack leaders. And
that's the hard thing.
Cam Taylor-Britt returning Russell Wilson's interception for a touchdown last Sunday. But still, it's like, you got to take that next step. The Bengals, if they won these one-score games instead of lost these one-score games, we'd be talking with them for a Super Bowl team. I think we would.
Yeah.
But, maybe. They'd still be close games.
Playoff team.
But definitely a playoff team, 100%. But it also speaks to their division. They're with the Steelers. They're with the Ravens. And they're with the Browns, who we'll talk about more in a minute. Yep. We'll leave that in a second. That's what we got for the bottom 10. Throw some fun stuff in there with the Bengals and, the Panthers and stuff like that. Top 10. Wait.
You'll start.
Yes,
it off,
I'm
right?
starting
Yes,
it off.
sir.
I have a good number 1 too, and so this is going to be a good way to kick it off for both. So I'll start it off. This is one that was a very strange headline to see last Saturday morning because it didn't really make a lot of sense at first. But Andrew Luck is back in football as Stanford's football's general manager. So one, it shows that he's back. People love Andrew Luck. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's a really smart guy, Stanford grad, or at least played football at Stanford. I don't remember if he left his junior year. But it's going to be fun to see him in that role, and Stanford football definitely could use a boost like that.
Oh, absolutely.
It also shows a continued shift in college football, that it's continuing to be more like professional football, which we'll talk about more in a minute. So I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Right.
So hit us with the number 9.
Number 9, sticking with college football, I have, and this is also a little bit more of a personal one, Liberty University versus Sam Houston State. My 2 older sisters, plus a sister-in-law and a brother-in-law, all are going or have gone to Liberty University. And my older brother went to Sam Houston State, graduated from there. And they played football. They played against each other on Friday, I believe. Mm-hmm. So that was just kind of cool. Like the in family, our two D1 colleges that have been in the family. And what I did not expect was for Sam Houston to beat Liberty University. Mm-hmm. We were having talks at the beginning of the college football season about Liberty University definitely being possibly being number 1 in the USA.
Yeah, Conference USA.
Conference USA.
Getting the 5th conference championship spot is what we were talking about.
And
crazy.
Not only, first they lost to the winless team from Georgia, Kennesaw State. And now, Sam Houston is not a bad team.
They're 9-3 this season. They were just a huge surprise.
They were just a huge surprise team. And so to see them beat Liberty University, it was just kind of funny. And it was just cool to have the two in-house colleges play. Mm-hmm. And for it to be a close game, a good game. But Sam Houston came out on top, and I know my older brother, Sam, ironically, was happy about that.
Yeah. It was really close. Sam Houston is 3rd in their conference. Liberty is 4th in the conference, ironically. Oh, wait, no, I guess that was the order. Sam Houston having 2 conference losses, Liberty having 3 conference losses. So barely missing out on the Conference USA championship.
No way JSU is on top.
Yep, Jacksonville State as a very new FBS team.
Yeah.
And then Western Kentucky, who one of the former FBS passing leaders, Bailey Zappi, went to Western Kentucky. Mm-hmm. There's a good trivia if you didn't know that. It's a fun one I like to talk about.
For sure.
Number 8, we talked about college, Division 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. We talked about NFL. I'm throwing the UFL back in here.
Heyo.
We got news recently that, let me start off with this. I like football. Baden, you like football, right?
I like football.
You like football?
I do.
If you're listening to this podcast, you like football, or I just convinced you to listen to it. But if you're this far into it and I convince you to listen to it, that's some commitment.
Yes.
So respect. But football, we all love it. The spring, sure, it's not the NFL, but the UFL, it's entertaining. There are rules. It's fun to watch. Anyway, we got news that the UFL is expanding. We're getting new teams, which means more players, which means more football, which means more chaos, which means it just means more football. It's more awesome. It's more awesome in spring football. The UFL seems to be doing really well as compared to the XFL and even the USFL. This one seems to have more success, at least on the surface. But getting an expansion, maybe we'll get the Seattle Sea Dragons back with those amazing uniforms. Oh, yeah. Maybe we'll get another team east of Texas like all of the teams are right now. But we'll see. We'll see. Just fun to see professional football at a level that people can get exposure that way. I mean, Jake Bates, Brandon Aubrey, Cavante Turpin. So many people like that wouldn't have made it in the NFL, but they get a shot in the UFL, and now we're NFL stars. So fun to see it. More people getting chances and just more football.
100%.
So good.
Oh, yeah. Number 7, we had pretty good Thanksgiving football games. We talked last podcast. We talked about how, honestly, on Thanksgiving, it'll be a good time to spend time with your family. You really don't have to.
It was.
It was. It's always good. Yeah, let me clarify. It was an amazing time to spend time with your family. But we were making the point that you really don't need to tune into the NFL. And you know what? The games were good. Surprisingly, it was Lions and
Bears.
Lions and
close.
Yeah, Lions and Bears. And the Bears, it got away from them in the first half. But they came and they made it very close, dangerously close, actually. If you're the Lions, then we saw the Giants and Cowboys. Once again, the Cowboys got ahead, but the Giants in the fourth quarter, they came back. It was a 3-point game.
Yeah, a 7-point game.
7-point game.
Yeah,
sorry,
one possession.
One possession game. So it was a good game, and then the Miami and the Packers, the Dolphins-Packers game, it was a little bit of a farther. It wasn't as close, but still, both teams played well. Miami in the snow. What do you expect?
Makes sense.
Dolphins
don't like the cold.
It's true. But they were worthwhile football games, and just looking at the lineup before Thanksgiving, that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, for sure. And also, you throw in the college football game on Thanksgiving. Tulane and Memphis. That was a wild game as well. But let's move on to another top 10. We mentioned this in the bottom 10. So we'll throw the flip side on the top 10 at number 6. The University of Michigan. They're bowl eligible again, and they get this win over their arch rival. And it's just a shout out. The call of Ohio State's interception by Gus Johnson, where he lost his voice calling it. Gus Johnson, people have his complaints about him. One of my favorite all-time football highlights is, can I remember? I think it's UCF against Baylor. It's 4th and 4 or whatever. And the quarterback runs way back. He goes back into the end zone, almost gets a safety, throws a deep pass, and you hear just Gus Johnson. It's caught!
He's losing his mind. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was a good play, but Gus Johnson's call
makes
the highlight. So if I just need some energy, if it's late at night, I need to work on some homework, I pull up Boise State versus OU highlights in the Fiesta Bowl in 2006. And then I listened to Gus Johnson's call of that one play. And UCF still lost the game. But Gus Johnson, say what you want, but I think he makes football even more entertaining.
Absolutely. So for number 5. Number 5?
Yes.
For number 5, we have the Cowboys. We have been... Uh-oh. Y'all didn't see that one coming.
Whoa.
Y'all did not see that one coming. Surprise. We have been, even as last episode, the Cowboys were, I believe, number 1 on the bottom 10. But they've won 2 games in a row. Division games. And they didn't just beat the Giants. They beat the Washington Commanders in a very close game. And special teams... Goodness gracious.
Amazing.
Their special teams...
Maybe not.
Well,
it was just wild.
Their special teams was wild. 2, a punt return touchdown and a kick return touchdown?
Kick return touchdown, punt block.
Kick return touchdown.
Let me see. I don't even remember. That was long ago.
I'm pretty sure they returned Washington's onside kick for a touchdown, too.
Yes, that's right.
And then Turpin, I can't remember if Turpin's was a
kick.
So 2 kick return touchdowns in the span of, 5 minutes.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. To win that. And so that's good. That's awesome. And then they hold off the Giants. Yeah, it's the Giants. But it's a win. So the Cowboys, 2 wins in a row. That's good.
Playoff odds are going up.
We
now have... I don't want to talk about I'm on the podcast.
Cowboys.
The Cowboys now have a 3% chance to make the playoffs.
Heyo.
We were at 1 a few weeks ago. We have tripled our playoff chances.
Bro.
How about that? How about that?
There it is. Hey,
finally,
2 games, 2 percentage points added.
There you go.
Let's go.
So we just need to play like 100 more games.
Exactly.
But, I mean, Rico Dowdle finally
win out.
got over 100 rushing yards. I mean, look at that win percentage thing. Oh, I forgot.
That's pretty crazy.
Talk about win percentage. I'll add this to my number 1 top 10 because I want to talk about it and I forgot. Anyway, that was your 5. So let's go to my 4. This was fun. It was Monday Night Football. Sometimes it's fun. A lot of times it's just like, meh, whatever. Yeah. In this game, Browns-Broncos, Jameis Winston sometimes entertaining, but the Broncos are playing well. The Broncos are it's gonna be a blowout game.
Yeah.
Or so we thought. This was just a wild game overall. Crazy, high scoring, speaks kind of against both defenses. But anyway, we'll leave that to the side. People like offense nowadays.
Can it be against both defenses? I don't know. Broncos.
I don't know. True. Yeah, it was good and bad to both defenses. Jerry Jeudy had the best receiver revenge game in NFL history. 9 receptions, 235 yards, 1 touchdown. It's the most receiving yards in a revenge game ever. And then, as we like to call the Jameis Winston experience, he threw for almost 500 yards.
Yeah.
If he started the whole season, right now he's at the pace to break the NFL passing record, throwing for almost 6,000 yards. God. He threw for 4 offensive touchdowns, but he threw for 2 defensive touchdowns. So really, he threw for 700 yards and 6
touchdowns, which is pretty crazy.
So it's
a record-breaking game.
Record-breaking for sure. I mean, that season with the Bucs where he threw for 5,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 30 picks. It's put a spark in the Broncos' offense, though.
Yeah.
Browns' offense.
Yeah.
Wrong team, guys.
Put a spark in the Broncos' defense.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely. So the Browns needed this kind of thing to win. But also in this game, Bo Nix continues his Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign. He's playing well. He threw 2 picks. The Browns' defense is good with Myles Garrett. Besides that, there's not that many good spots on it. Yeah. So not a great look for him. But he continues to be one of the best rookie quarterbacks this season. And I'm loving what I'm seeing from Bo Nix. In this game, did not expect anything good. Well, not anything good. I did not expect anything like this to come out of it. And we get highlights and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and
there you go.
Yeah, and I think it's just on Jameis Winston, it's me and Hank are Christians, and it's cool. It's very cool and encouraging to see Jameis Winston, odd as he is, openly professing and talking about prayer and thanking God. And that's really cool to see. And even considering the interceptions, his statement on the interceptions was, I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe it was, I pray that the Lord delivers me from those pick sixes. Or something like along those lines, which is the most Jameis Winston thing ever, and I love it. I'm all here. Yep. I'm all for it.
Hopping on the Jameis Winston train.
Absolutely. I support that man.
Wild.
For number 4.
Number 3.
I have the Eagles and Saquon.
Wild.
The Eagles had a rough season last year. Started out 10-0, 9-0.
Started out, I don't remember, 11-1.
11-1, yeah. Started out 11-1 and then tanked.
Intentionally?
And
maybe? No, just kidding. I do not. That would be the worst tanking decision ever. Anyway, go ahead.
But they definitely did tank, though. And this season, it looked good. They get Saquon, it looks better, but oh my goodness, they're incredible.
Yeah.
The Eagles have been making big statement games, and Saquon Barkley is in the running. Usually it doesn't look good for running backs. CMC, Christian McCaffrey had a good run, and then that kind of fell apart. But Saquon is making his name for MVP.
Yeah.
The odds are okay. Is it likely that a running back will get it? Not super likely. But if a running back would get it, it would be Saquon Barkley this year. They have become a powerhouse, which in the NFC at the beginning of the year, I would have put a lot of teams over them. And they're proving, hey, yeah, the Lions might be the Super Bowl favorite, but watch out. We got Saquon Barkley and the Eagles. So be careful, because that NFC Championship game, that could be a little crazy.
Definitely. And yeah, I think Saquon should be the MVP favorite right now. He's on pace to break Eric Dickerson's rushing record. Mm-hmm. If he does that, especially in the season where people are talking about, running backs aren't all that valuable. Josh Allen's having a great season.
Yeah.
And as we'll talk about in a second, making some wild plays. But Saquon, I think, adding the spark to this Eagles offense, I think he deserves MVP if the Eagles continue to perform like they have. If they get the 1 seed, and if Saquon breaks Eric Dickerson's record, I don't think there's any way you can say he doesn't get it.
Any question about it.
Unless Josh Allen just
does
something just absolutely
continues
insane.
To be crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Saquon is making a statement.
Definitely. Yeah, I think he should be MVP favorite. But, we'll talk about Heisman MVP odds in a minute. And, anyway. Number 2.
Hank's ready. Hank's chomping at the bit.
Yeah, number 2 on the top 10. As I mentioned with Heisman odds, just overall college football playoff chaos. So many upsets. There's not really a clear best team. Of course, Oregon's the only undefeated FBS team, but are they the best? Mm-hmm. Is Notre Dame better? Was that a fluke loss? Or is an SEC team better even though there's been chaos in the SEC? Is the Big 12 as bad as people think? Should Boise State be a top 5 team?
Should they? Yes. What?
I don't know, guys. This is wild. Obviously, the basically final college football playoff rankings came out tonight. They are not technically final because we still have the conference championships, but right now they have Alabama in the playoffs as a 3-loss SEC team.
Really?
Above Miami. Their losses weren't as bad as people think. Georgia Tech and the Syracuse are both good teams. They had close wins, I think, is their biggest problem. I think their offense could take on anyone in the playoffs, but their defense would get destroyed by a lot of teams in the playoffs. So I think it's fair that they're not in. South Carolina, their resume may be as close to as good as Alabama's. Alabama lost 24-3 to OU. BYU has a much better resume than people think they do. Their losses were to good teams. They beat SMU, who right now is number 8 in the country. And so I think BYU, I don't know, I may put them at that 11 spot instead of Alabama. I might. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's any sort of shakeup with conference championships. If Alabama ends up dropping out because of ACC chaos and something like that. Clemson, if they beat SMU, they could be 9-3 and get a bye. So wild that it expands, which is great because more teams get in. I think there are many more than 4 teams that deserve a playoff spot right now. But there may not be 12 teams that deserve a playoff spot this year. And but people complain about NIL. People complain about the transfer portal. Guilty. I complain about these. But I also don't think it's a coincidence that the most entertaining season of college football in recent memory happens as all of this is happening. There's some benefits to it, but I think it needs to come under control. Also, just to throw out some extra chaos, the Georgia versus Georgia Tech game, I had it on. I was like, wow, Georgia's going to lose. And then I think my cousins turned it to the Dallas Stars game, which is great. I love the Dallas Stars. And I look back at the score. I'm like, Georgia's winning. The Stars were up 4-1. And so I'm like, let's switch it back. 8 overtimes? I stayed up till 11 on that Black Friday. That was insane. Such an insane game. Win percentage. If you haven't, you need to look up and just see that win percentage. It is amazing. So amazing to see all the overtime, just back and forth win percentage. So good. So good. Love that game. Just this season, we've been blessed this college football season 100%.
Absolutely.
All
and
right.
I think speaking of chaos, that's another teams where we saw some fights I was just thinking about was Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah, as always. As it should be.
As always, yes. That's kind of required. All the other teams, maybe not. That's required.
100%.
Take
us to number 1.
Number 1. honestly, this entire list, I think for the most part, any of these could have been number one. This was we put together a good top 10. We have Josh Allen having this is already amazing, a receiving touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown in the same game. Even more crazy, his receiving touchdown was thrown by Josh Allen. Josh Allen in a inadvertent, I think that's the right word, hook and ladder play through to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was wrapped up by 2 or 3 defenders, and he lateraled it back to Josh Allen. Josh Allen dived in for the pylon, got the touchdown, which on the stats page is a receiving touchdown from Josh Allen to Josh Allen. That's insane. 100%. And so as we talk, Saquon Barkley, Josh Allen, they're making their cases for MVP. They're going back and forth. Mm-hmm. You're at least the most valuable player on your team if you're throwing touchdown passes to yourself.
Mm-hmm. He had a rushing touchdown too, like you said.
Yeah, and a rushing touchdown.
Trifecta.
I think Christian McCaffrey had a game like that either a season ago, 2 seasons ago. I think last season, right at the beginning of the season against the Rams, maybe? I'm not sure. But he had kind of the same deal. But yeah, Josh Allen, the Bills have been a great team the last 3 years. But they are looking like to me, are looking like the AFC favorite. And I think it is 85 to 90% Josh Allen.
Okay.
So I'm saying that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if anything deserves the number one on our top 10, I think it's Josh Allen.
Yeah. And that play, we're going to be seeing that.
Superman.
There's when we're talking about MVP race, we're going to show Saquon's backwards hurdle and Josh Allen's hook and ladder. These two plays, play of the year, both by number 1 and 2 MVP candidates.
Absolutely.
So amazing that we get those both in the same season.
Mm-hmm.
But so we talked about top 10 and bottom 10. Great stuff. That was a good list, as you said. Okay. We're going to talk about a Super Bowl pick to finish. But
first,
let's talk about the Heisman. Because I have a little essay here.
He does, in fact. An essay here.
So if you haven't, I'm going to tell you their stats, so you don't have to look them up. If you want to look into it deeper, which you should, not you should.
You should.
If you're going to argue for who should win the Heisman, you should have your stats.
Absolutely.
So Jeanty and Hunter stats. Obviously, Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty are number 1 and 2. Dylan Gabriel is third, but he's nowhere close to any of these guys. So Ashton Jeanty is first in pretty much every rushing category. If there's a rushing category, besides average, because it's a one receiver who has one rush for 40 yards, he's 600 yards above second place in rushing. His yards after contact are more than any other player's rushing yards.
Gosh.
So here's the case for Travis Hunter. He's 5th in both receptions and receiving yards. He's 2nd in receiving touchdowns. He's tied. Excuse me. Defensively, he's tied for 7 people, with 7 people for 7th place in passes defended. He's tied with about 30 people for 15th in interceptions. So people argue that Travis Hunter's on the field all the time, so he gets more snaps. Well, Jeanty also, he has 20 more rushes than anyone else in college football. He gets the ball so many times each game. Although, he's been playing injured a little bit. There were 2 games where he was held out of the second half entirely, just with how much they were up. So, I think that the cardio king, as you want to call it, that argument is a little bit in Jeanty's favor. But it can be argued against both. Hunter's offensive stats are top tier. His defensive stats aren't quite there, in my opinion. They're elite, but they're not top tier. Their strength of schedules are really close to the same. Colorado's around 50, Boise State's around 70. They're both doing things we've rarely ever seen. But if the Heisman's the most valuable player, I think it's Ashton Jeanty.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Hunter, he's the most popular player. He's a great player. He's going to be probably the first overall pick. Ashton Jeanty, Boise State's great. They would not be in the playoffs without Ashton Jeanty.
Mm-hmm.
Ashton Jeanty is insane. He's the best running back we've seen in recent memory. He's Derrick Henry level, in my opinion. Yeah. Stats-wise, he's better. So, even though Travis Hunter's odds are minus 8,000 and Jeanty is at plus 1,800, showing that Travis Hunter's going to win it, I think Ashton Jeanty deserves the Heisman. And, with all the Instagram polls, I think Ashton Jeanty is a popular pick. Maybe not the favorite, but he's a very popular pick.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see that night. In a couple weeks, who gets it?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Who do you think? Have you researched it much?
I'm on the Ashton Jeanty side of it. I can 100% understand where the Travis Hunter, obviously he's an amazing player, and we haven't seen someone, we've seen players play both sides, but not to the dominant level that Travis
Mm-hmm.
Hunter has played receiver and corner.
Mm-hmm.
And he, absolutely, he will probably be the first or second pick, depending on who gets the first pick.
True.
In the NFL draft. But undeniably, Boise State's good because of Ashton Jeanty.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the most valuable player. And his stance at running back is being copied not by high schoolers or middle schoolers, by NFL running backs.
Mm-hmm.
NFL running backs, some of them, are going away from the athletic stance and pulling the just standing straight up Ashton Jeanty running back. He's making a huge impact, and I think that popularity is on Travis Hunter's side. But if you look at the stats, for me at least, or stats are stats, they're factual.
Yeah.
It's Ashton Jeanty. But we'll just see. I think both of them are excellent candidates.
Yeah, 100%. And we've seen down years at Heisman Trophy. If it was a down year, either of these guys would be runaway favorites.
Yeah.
They're both incredible.
It's an up year.
They both should be top 5, top 10 picks in the NFL draft.
Absolutely.
You look at Jeanty's runs against a crowded box. Anything like less than an 8-man box, he averages like 7 yards a carry. Sure, it is a Mountain West, but he ran for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns against the number 1 team in the country. So, there you go.
Boom.
That's Ashton Jeanty. And then let's talk about our Super Bowl picks. Let's finish it up right here. Baden, you wanna start us off with your Super Bowl pick?
Absolutely. Not much has changed for me.
Okay.
I am absolutely sticking with Lions-Bills. And I had the Lions on top last time.
Whoa.
The closeness between the Lions and the Bears, I still have full confidence in the Lions. But I think the margin between the Lions and the Bills for me is getting closer. And I am going to say Lions, Bills take it.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. And also, I think that there could be nothing more heartbreaking in the NFL than for the Bills to get to a 5th Super Bowl and lose it in a row. 4th or 5th in a row that they would have lost? 5th in a row that they would have lost, I'm pretty sure.
They lost 4 straight in the 90s.
And that's not why I'm picking them, but that just adds on to it. I think, so yeah, not 5th in a row, but
5th
Super Bowl that they've made to that they have lost in a row. And so both teams would deserve the win, but I just did not that I didn't like what they saw. They won the game. If you win a football game, you won it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bears snuck up on the Lions, so maybe they weren't prepared for how that was going to go, and they still got the win. But I think the Bills could take them down. So I'm going to go Lions, Bills victory.
Okay. I like it. Mine's along the same lines. As you said, the Lions have shown some inconsistency I still think that they're the best team in the NFL, but the Eagles are playing really well. The Eagles could take the spot, make another Super Bowl. I'm still going with the Lions for the NFC. For the AFC, I've been sticking with the Steelers. I looked really smart after last time. Don't look really smart anymore. They lost. They lost to the Browns, who, albeit, look all right now.
Yeah.
But seeing how susceptible the Steelers are right there, not really a great look. The Chiefs, I can't pick them. They're the worst 11-1 team in NFL history. No, I can't. It's just not. They're not a top-tier team. The Chargers are tempting. I mean, they've been playing really well. That game in prime time, it was really, really close against the Ravens.
Broncos.
The Broncos?
Broncos.
I don't know.
Pick the Broncos.
I'm not going to pick the Broncos for a Super Bowl at this point. They've been playing well, but not Super Bowl level quite yet.
Agreed.
So I'm also going Lions-Bills, as you said.
Lions-Bills.
The Bills, I don't like picking two favorites because generally it doesn't work that way.
That's fair.
But both these teams have proven themselves to be number one in their division. Yeah. They're going to be really hard to beat. The Lions' coaching is just insane. Insane.
Absolutely.
The Bills, Josh Allen's playmaking ability, also insane. And so you put these two together in a Super Bowl, this could be the most watched Super Bowl in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
People will enjoy watching someone besides the Chiefs. But I'm still sticking with the Lions over the Bills.
All right.
The coaching that the Lions have, the playmaking ability of their entire offense. I mean, Penei Sewell was going to throw a pass. It was going to be an end around to the tackle. He was going to throw the ball. Just a new ingenuity that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
You put Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson together as coaches for this team. Wild stuff. So Lions over Bills, in my opinion. But we've seen a lot of change this season.
We have.
So
there's no telling what'll happen in the next 6 weeks.
No telling. It's going to be wild.
Mm-hmm.
Some wild seasons, NFL and college.
Absolutely. And that makes it so much better.
So much better.
It's so much better when you don't just have one team that's just, you think is going to run away with it.
Yeah. So much better for everyone to watch. Mm-hmm. So much fun for us to get to cover.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks for listening to the Nice Catch podcast. If you love football, continue to tune in each episode for our football takes all the way from the offseason through the playoffs. This is a Nice Catch podcast.